Well, add another one to the almost Jets list. Lewis Cine backs out and is heading to Buffalo.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today we get to talk about a strange situation happening with the New York Jets. It's not a big deal. I want to emphasize this is not a huge deal. It's just a little bit bizarre and worthwhile to cover this morning, as we got some strange news revolving around Lewis Cine, who looked like he was going to the New York Jets as of yesterday. So here's the deal. Roster cut down day happens. The original 53 gets put out, and then people start to sign elsewhere to practice squads and active rosters, and things begin to move around a little bit. So the Jets yesterday, Jason Brownlee, RIP in peace, he ends up getting waived to get the new tight end on the roster. But then we were wondering about Lewis Cine, because it looked like he was going to get added to the New York Jets practice squad, as I mentioned. Former first-round pick from the Minnesota Vikings, has been injured a lot the last 2 years, so hasn't really gotten a long run. But that's not the case anymore, and it was a little bit weird how this happened. So yesterday we got the original report that Cine was going to the New York Jets. And then last night, the New York Jets tweet out their practice squad roster. So you click on it, it's like, hey, 17 guys you go through. And Lewis Cine was not one of those 17 guys. Instead of going, that's weird, maybe he signed somewhere else, I thought, and everyone else assumed, oh, the Jets are adding him to the active roster. So is Isaiah Oliver going to get cut? Are they going to lose one of the defensive linemen? Like, how are they going to go about putting him on the roster? Nope. Instead, he is going to the Buffalo Bills. As I mentioned, is it the biggest deal in the world? No. He would have been a project that Robert Saleh and company would have had to try to get in the right direction. It could have been fun. Might have been fun to work on. But instead, he is going to Buffalo, where honestly probably has a better shot to play. I mean, right now, Damar Hamlin is their starting free safety. They have Taylor Rapp. Cole Bishop, they spent a second-round pick on, is a backup at free safety, and Mike Edwards as well are their four safeties. So there's a little bit room for growth and a quicker path to being a starter, or at least more playing time on that team. Why go to Buffalo? They're not even the favorites in the division anymore. The Jets are the favorite in the division now at plus 170. Could have came to the team that's favored to win the division, my friend. Poor business. If you want to get in on the action, sign up for BetUS and receive a 125% match deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with BetUS when you sign up using my link. And maybe, guess what? You could put a bet in on the Jets to win the division. If you listened to me in the past, you would have done it already, because the number continues to increase, or the Jets continue to be a bigger favorite. So could have got a better price, but get in on it before it continues to move now over on BetUS. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time that this happened for the New York Jets with the Minnesota Vikings. Really, it's like the third. Anthony Barr, originally going back to 2019, the Jets probably got saved. Mike McCagnon's dumbass probably got saved by Anthony Barr going back to the Minnesota Vikings. But the Jets were going to sign him and then convert him to be an edge rusher. Instead, Barr kind of was like, nah, I don't like this. I'm going to go back to Minnesota. And he didn't really ever do a whole lot after that. So the Jets were going to overpay him and change his position. Strange, but it was reported that he was signing with the Jets, and then it was like, just kidding, actually not going to sign with the Jets. I'm going to go back to the Minnesota Vikings. And then if you want to go back even further, in 2004, it looked like Antoine Winfield was going to sign with the New York Jets. He was originally drafted by Buffalo in 2004, hits free agency. Jets offer him a nice contract, but instead he backs out and ends up in Minnesota. Would go on to have a very nice career with the Minnesota Vikings. So what is it? Added to the list now: Lewis Cine, Anthony Barr, Antoine Winfield. Defensive players just don't want to come to the New York Jets. They'd rather go to the Minnesota Vikings, or in this case, the Buffalo Bills. But honestly, in all seriousness, I want to reiterate, not a huge deal. The Jets' 4 safeties that they have on the roster, strong safeties, Chuck Clark and Ashton Davis. I personally am a really big fan of Chuck Clark. I get it. He's coming off an injury, and that scares a lot of people. But I think what we've seen through training camp and the joint practices, like, Chuck Clark is basically decapitating running backs over the middle of the field. Over in these joint practices. I think he is hungry and is going to have a really nice season. And by the end of it, we'll go, oh, wow, it was a nice, quiet upgrade at the strong safety spot going from Jordan Whitehead to Chuck Clark. And then Ashton Davis is just kind of always around the ball, man. Good special teamer and just like stumbles his way into fumble recoveries and interceptions. You got to give him credit, just always in the right spot and has significantly improved over the years, which at first he was kind of just raw, like a really good athlete. And then that athleticism has finally started to translate for Ashton. So really happy there. And then at free safety, Tony Adams and Isaiah Oliver. Tony Adams, UDFA from a couple of years ago. They really love him at free safety. He isn't really all that physical. So he's kind of your ball hawking free safety. And then Isaiah Oliver, special teamer. They know him from San Fran. They're comfortable with him. I don't think this safety room is necessarily as bad as some Jet fans think it is. Just wanted to come on here quick and talk about the craziness of Lewis Cine backing out. That was weird. We don't really get to see that every day. Thanks again to BetUS for sponsoring today's video. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.